Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. What is it? Sunday? Sunday, April 22nd, 2018. I am joined. I'm live here with my good brother, Big Chonis, in studio. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Cheds, how are you today? Happy to be here on this beautiful Sunday, finally.
Mm-hmm.
We've been watching the price action of Bitcoin and crypto all week. We're just really amazed by the bullish momentum that we've been seeing. A lot of the price action has been pretty amazing across the board with the big players and the alts. And I'm just happy to kind of figure out what we're seeing here and kind of debate maybe where we're headed very soon with this price action.
So, what's your general feeling right now? We do have Bitcoin chart in front of us. Clearly, we're on a nice. Obviously, we'll start with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's been on a nice little tear here as of late. What's your general feeling? Where do you think we are, like in the cycle? In this move, where do you think we are?
All right, so first, let's acknowledge kind of where we've come from. A few weeks ago we were basically bottoming out here, basically putting in this higher low from here, from here, from here. I just want to quickly hide our volume here. Good. Okay, so there was a lot of debate in this area here as to what was happening. Were we basically gearing up for that next leg down? A lot of people were basically expecting that break of our previous low here from our early February bottom,
Mm-hmm.
where we broke 6,000 on a bunch of exchanges and touched the 5,800 area.
Yep.
A lot of people at this point here were anticipating that, except for a couple few that really actually saw this as a potential double bottoming area and the setup for an incredible bull run. The shorts we basically saw in this area here kept loading and loading and loading, basically bringing themselves up here to an all-time high area before that massive candle we saw April 12th that liquidated a whole bunch of shorts. A lot of people got wrecked there, and basically has produced a lot of this momentum that we have seen basically over the past 2 weeks. Now we talk about, and it seems like every day we talk about the next day's candle will tell the story, will give us some sort of a direction here. And the direction we've been seeing constantly over the past 2 weeks is this bullish bull flag consistent movement here, where everybody has been expecting a pullback in the mid sevens, the low eights, and everybody keeps getting disappointed because, except for the holders, because we keep moving up and moving up. Now, today is Sunday, and we've basically been talking about earlier in the week kind of what the weekly close would bring and how that would really look on the chart here. Because what we basically have been seeing is, once we had that inside bar the previous week, super bullish green candle that we had last week, and how this week we basically to maintain and go higher.
Isn't that a morning star pattern on the weekly chart with these three candles?
Almost.
Almost.
I mean, here's the situation here. We go to log here, and let's get zoomed in because we're in the weekly here. It's a little tricky, actually.
Let's get rid of that.
We'll stay on here. It's fine. So the reason I wanted to bring up the weekly chart here is because you see how long we've been in this continued downtrend for. Now, we see examples here and here where we thought we had a bottom. We had several weeks of an uptrend only to give it back.
Yeah, that's it as a morning star. So we have almost a similar pattern here, right? So we could kind of maybe have a little more, but suggested.
And I mean, even here too, it's kind of a similar.
Third time we've seen
this.
So
for the third time, we are doing this pattern here where we have a bottoming area.
Yep.
And 1, 2, third week here.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, third week here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, this is almost 5-week run here. So the question is this the break of this pattern here, where we actually begin to break through and confirm this bullish momentum pulse? Or are we actually going to get rejected again somewhere in this area of 9,000 to potentially 10,000,
Mm-hmm.
where we had previously here and here?
Well, let's look at the daily chart. Will it give us a little more insight if we're going to break that line, Big Chonis?
So there's a lot of talk about, have we broken out? Have we created this kind of next bullish momentum change here? And the basically question is, the answer is we don't know yet. A lot of people are very bullish. A lot of people feel that we have turned that corner, that alt season is back, that basically we have bottomed for now, possibly forever, and that 6,500 area is going to be as low as we see Bitcoin for some time. There's a lot of data that could suggest that we have turned the corner. You have to acknowledge a lot of the money flow.
Mm-hmm.
You have to acknowledge a lot of the bullish kind of excitement that we're seeing in social media. media. We're seeing it played out with a bunch of people on TV. We're definitely seeing almost a kind of a feeling that maybe all the negativity that we've had about Bitcoin and the price action over the past 2 months is starting to wear a little bit thin, and the overall market sentiment has changed. Now, we've been in situations like this before, only to get the rug pulled out from under us. So I don't feel that we basically confirmed anything yet. I am acknowledging the amazing price action over the past month. There's a lot of gains that have been made in the big coins, as well as a lot of the alts have been just on amazing
a great run. I think clearly, and you allude to a good point, there's a battle for hearts and minds going on right now, because you have, I put out a poll earlier this week, and I was going to do another one today. You have linear traders who think there's a downtrend line broken, and you have the logarithmic traders who say that downtrend line is not broken. And you're seeing just that sentiment battle bear itself out in social media. And some people say, for example, we saw Coinbase when CNBC, tweets a picture of a Coinbase chart of Bitcoin. There's like a moon, whatever. You're like, I don't know, maybe that's a little toppy. So that's a signal kind of people looking for. When they get bullish, right? You should be bearish.
Two weeks ago, we were trying to analyze how it felt to be very bearish and very negative. And we basically felt like,
we felt insecure.
We felt insecure about the future of Bitcoin.
It could go 100 lower, right?
We were clearly feeling that 5,000 area was definitely in play.
Right.
We were feeling with Litecoin sub 100 is definitely in play. Sub 300 on Ethereum.
Were we debating 98 versus 85?
Right.
On this show.
On this show, we were debating the merits between what the differential is in that 1% differential. Why we hate it at 95 and love it at 93. Why we hate Litecoin, at 112, but we were dying.
Love it at 130.
Love to buy it at 130.
Right, because it's going to go 138.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So there has to be an acknowledgement that
we're messed up mentally and we're all emotionally none of us know what we're doing. I think that's a great acknowledgement.
I think it acknowledges the fact that emotions and basically trader sentiment plays a huge role in the price action here and what's happening.
Well, how much of your decision are you making on trader sentiment when you're deciding if you're going to buy and sell? Like, are you like Data from Star Trek, or are you going to be more like whatever her name is, the Betazoid?
So it's about the bubble of information you're prepared to absorb. So if you're in a coin or two or three coins, all you want to see is the positive people talking about that coin. The chart that shows that coin, 5xing and 10xing.
Are you unfollowing bears just because you don't want to see an opinion
That's a great question. My philosophy is I want to see everything. I want to see both sides. And there's many sides to even the both sides. There's the bulls, there's the bears, there's a lot of neutral players, there's a lot of long-term bullish with short-term bearish people. So you have to basically take this data in and understand that even if you're in love with a coin, that euphoria, that irrational exuberance can get you wrecked if you're not prepared for it. We've seen this incredible run over the past few weeks. We're seeing indicators that we normally feel are very healthy in terms of what we kind of like to use as a gauge, basically showing us that we can run in these very topped off areas. For the first time, though, and we'll use Ether as an example here.
It's still got a little room to run. Look at the RSI, Big Chonis.
So we've seen Ether on 3 circumstances recently where it's basically been able to hold price action above an overbought area of the RSI and still have running room. We've seen that if the RSI drops below, we see the price goes dead flat. This is a very bullish sign there as the RSI reset. Same deal here and same deal here until we actually topped off. Since we topped off back around 1400, we have not been anywhere close to approaching the overbought area.
Look at this downtrend line here. So we've clearly broken the downtrend.
We've broken several downtrends and several RSI resistances, except kind of where we're at right now here, because you see we were not able to break the 70 area, which is basically an area that denotes
when
okay, well we first tried to do it a couple days ago, we were rejected, and now we're trying to hit it again.
But here it was rejected and it fell through the second time. So this is like one of those where you knock once and then the second time you kick it down.
Well, this is, and right here I think we see an example of that where we actually broke it once, a little too fast, came back down, found support, and then blasted right through it. Is this setting up for a very similar pattern?
It doesn't have to be exactly 70 because you have to have a plus or minus in all of these indicators.
And ranges, also different Ether prices on other exchanges have kind of fed to where that is there. So I guess we could both agree we're basically close to that line there.
Well,
And we're also close to other basically indicators where we've seen, for instance, the stock RSI. We've seen circumstances where it can be up here for 4, 5, 6,
We'll go to
7
Bitcoin
days.
Cash. Bitcoin Cash has been a topped out stock RSI. Let's put it in, right? Do we not even have it? Oh, we do. So look at the stock RSI. It's been topped out for 9 days. We talk about it, but you know why you knew? Go to the first day it was topped off. Your RSI was only like 40 or something.
So that's a great example of bullish divergence, where you have the stock RSI, which is a great kind of a short-term range there, showing we're way overbought, but the RSI is so oversold still, and that basically shows you that the RSI took precedent in terms of the potential.
Well, the RSI was the longer channel, and you could say the stock RSI is like the engines are fired up, and then the caboose is coming, right? So that's a great point, and you could even let's say it was the opposite. They were both topped off, and the stock RSI started to come down first. That might tell you that you've got a sustained downtrend coming.
Now, when we look at the RSI, I mean, this is a clear example here where that 70 just had no interest in stopping. It blasted right through, and now we're at, from a historical standpoint here, way high on where we are there. Now, I know I'm using the Coinbase chart there. I know there's a little more history on the chart.
Let's pull up Bitfinex.
And Bitfinex, where are we? Right there. Oh, no, that's the ratio.
Just type in BCH USD.
And Bitfinex. There we go. Okay, so very similar there. Not as high on the RSI. Definitely topped
Still
off
pretty
on the
pretty
stock.
darn high though, huh?
But we see areas here in the past, over here and over here, where we've been able to maintain price action in this overbought area as well. Now, we were talking about how Ethereum had been leading the way until Bitcoin Cash just went berserkers and basically did that. Now, the first thing I notice here is how spread out the Bollingers are.
Wow.
Based on this move here. I'm seeing tremendous green candles here. I'm seeing its first interaction here with this is the 200 day, right?
Yeah, go back to the Coinbase server. It was the 200 with the 200, probably the 200 MA. Yep.
There it is, 200 MA. So we're basically getting close to that 200 MA there, almost kind of touched it there, and that's on the Bitfinex exchange there. So we are starting to see a little resistance here. No, obviously not surprised because of this epic run here. We're also finding historic price action in this area here that we have been to before. Let me get this line here. Right there. There we go. Oh, and we're white. That's why. Okay, so we definitely have price history here and here around the 1300 area here as well. So I think there's a possibility that...
Well, even to get there, you've got other traffic too. You've got these other bars to deal with.
Yeah, you almost could argue that.
So it's just a little zone. It's almost like a strip. It's not just that line. It's kind of that area, right? Like 1280 to 1330 almost.
And we're right there here. So a couple things are going to happen here. We might top off here and try and...
Let's look closer, because let's see if we're getting any warning signs.
All right, well, we might want to try and bounce around this area here as we get up there.
Let's early. Let's go 1 hour, because this 4 hour candle's still... Let's check out the 1 hour. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So what we see here, again, this is the 1 hour. Now, again, we'll acknowledge here that every potential bearish indicator along the way has kept going. So there's been a lot of kind of fake outs.
Rising wedges are broken bullishly,
so
for example.
If you want to argue that what we're looking at here in the past 2 hours are what?
Spinning tops.
I kind of agree that, we actually have 3 in a row wicks.
This one's a little, not too, I would almost ignore that. You have a nice green body here. That's not too bad.
But for some reason,
you gotta have some. You gotta have a tiny pullback.
Basically 1250 right there.
1250 psychological, right?
The past 3 hours.
Any other warning signs like divergence or anything like that?
Let's see here.
I mean, a little bit of early divergence on unbalanced volume, but not really yet. I mean,
the RSI is still rising.
Yeah, RSI's room.
Although you could kind of argue.
Rising wedge?
Well, I mean, if you look from where we were here to here, we're lower.
Well, that's good.
And then if you look from where we were
that's what
here
you want.
to here,
that's
we're
bullish.
higher. So we
because
still have bullish
cooling off.
divergence there.
Even it's actually hidden bearish divergence, but it's bullish because it's cooling off. That's your overheated
RSI
indicator.
is lower while the price is still higher, which shows the price could go higher before the RSI hits where it used to be.
So that's actually bullish for me. That's bullish for me. But your stochastic's a little hot here. So obviously, if this isn't going to continue, you're looking at another 6 hours of sideways at least.
It's possible. And again, like we close the week this evening's price action. So what happens when that happens and where it decides to close is going to really tell a lot of volume for what's going to happen next week. If we close over 9,000, 9,100, let's say tonight,
Yeah.
closing over 9,000 from a psychological standpoint after being
big,
in the
it's
eights,
big.
sevens, and sixes
It's big.
for quite a while there, that says something about the market.
But you know what though? But like but I remember back on Litecoin back after December, and remember how we broke 100, and we were saying to ourselves, now that's it. It's never going below 100 again. You know what I mean? So it's like even if it's like a break, it's easy to fall in love with a psychological resistance, and then it's easy for that resistance to be broken again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like be careful of false hope. Just before we move on back to Ethereum and wrap up Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, we were both noting. No. Actually, let's go to Ethereum. I wanted to make a point because you and I were disagreeing on something, and it was formative. Was the 200 MA? What chart was that on with the 200 MA that we were talking about? Was it the Bitcoin Cash one on the Coinbase server here? Yeah, daily. Yeah. So let's go back to the daily chart. This is something that's interesting. So if you looked at the Ethereum, there we go. So you were making a point to me, and you were trying to say, look, it's being rejected, the 200 MA, right? That's what you were
Yes.
you believe, or that's your opinion?
Well, we have 3 days of price action
Right.
here where it's basically hitting it, like on the nose.
I feel like it's this. You might be right, but just to make a counter argument, be careful with early confirmation because I'm looking at this line. It chopped right through it like it didn't exist, and now that it's come back, hasn't really tried to test it. Like even here, like this is the first test of the 200.
Well, zoom out again. Zoom out again. Maximize the ether chart too.
Maximize it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Double click.
Yeah.
Oopsie. Let's get rid of that. Double click on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my point about this is that the 200 from that break right there has acted as support this entire bull run.
Has it? When was it? It's not supportive. It's never been tested. It just
That's my point.
Right.
It hasn't been tested until very recently.
But
it broke it with conviction,
Right.
and now we're retesting it. And this is a key area
But it
here.
didn't even these lower wicks, and even here when it rallied above it, it's like this 200 doesn't. My point is,
It's 4 days of price action there.
It doesn't even exist.
It's
I
4
see
days
no
of
interaction.
price action here. After not hit 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right here.
Yeah.
No, it went right through it.
It
went right through it and closed above.
held.
No, it didn't. I mean, it went right
break.
through it. It just the wick. It broke it. I don't see where it's support.
Yeah, which made it oversold.
I'm saying, Peter Brand. What is it? Peter Brand has that tweet where he said you can give a monkey like a piece of charcoal and like a string or something, and eventually they'll draw a trend line that makes sense. Remember him saying that tweet? Something like that. I feel like this is that type of a scenario.
Yes, but if other traders are seeing the same thing, where, look at that, it broke through
I don't
the 200,
disagree. That's a great counter argument.
and now it's hitting it again.
Right.
That's a thing.
If other people believe it, then it has value.
Exactly. And it does play into play
Right.
because the 200 MA has always played into
I
play
agree.
in terms of TA.
My opinion is that looking at this chart, I see it has no significance, but I can see the counter argument as well.
Can we argue that an ether with that?
Can we agree?
I agree with that. But can we maximize again?
Okay.
No, stop it.
Maximize or maximize?
Can we agree that we've done basically a complete horseshoe kind of equilibrium move here where ether is back to
M top.
at a point here and like a W bottom basically.
M top head and shoulders
Head and
almost.
shoulder shot.
Maybe a cup and handle.
Maybe an inverse
could
little
a cup
bit,
and
but
handle.
the bottom's kind of weird.
Kind of a W bottom, or it looks like somebody's backside.
So are we setting up here for this next ether leg movement bullish up, or have we topped off and run the tanks dry?
But you got to think momentum's still strong, and until I think this is an area of resistance we just talked about before. So this 680, this is an area it probably would test and get rejected at.
A lot of history there,
right? A lot of history. So we did Ethereum.
Litecoin.
We've done Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
And let's get Litecoin here. 149. It's been kind of playing with that 150 level, Big Chonis. What are your feelings? You're kind of the Litecoin whisperer. What is your feeling on Litecoin here?
All right, so the first thing that kind of sticks out about Litecoin is that it's actually had a little more of a bearish diversion than most of the other coins there. The very first thing I wanted to notice was that when it peaked off around 157, I believe, and had that first red candle where Bitcoin basically hit 9.1 and then came back to 8,600, I believe. Litecoin's dip down was actually much more kind of severe, if you could argue here, where it basically all the way down to 140 and then it kind of peaked back to 150. Nice little trade, little flip there of this oversold area.
That's a 3 outside down, isn't that, Big Jonas?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that
a 3 inside down.
So again, we have a situation here where we're using the daily and we're using the 200 MA, and basically what we're seeing here is we broke it, we held above it, we came down, and then literally we could not break it again. I find that a very interesting time there because we were just arguing about how effective the 200 MA could be in terms of this. Well, I see a clear rejection of the 200 MA right there.
Here.
On that candle there.
Even though you closed above it.
Candle. And now we can't get above it.
Yeah, but how many hours left? You can't. I mean, yes, but you should only give 50% weight to today's candle. There's only 50% for.
But for now, we broke it.
Yeah.
We held.
So
we
then
broke down.
So it ignores. So basically, you should ignore it. So
no.
Why?
We tried to get back up.
It was neither support nor resistance. It broke it, and it neither was.
Yeah, but
it's like it doesn't exist.
It does today because now it can't get back over.
It's like a piece of ham to a vegetarian. It doesn't exist.
I don't know.
Right? Because you does that work? You broke right through it. It was neither support nor resistance. So it's only because it's a 200-day MA. I'm supposed to. Well, we're redoing the same debate. So
if you basically see that, I mean, listen, you have to acknowledge here that we haven't seen a run like this on these three for quite a while here. So I think a lot of people that have been so stuck in this bearish mentality are just amazed by the bullishness and the bullish price action.
How's the 1 hour look? Are there any? Let's just peek on the 1 hour.
Sure.
And see.
So let's look at the things here. So the RSI has been pretty stable.
Yep.
You know, looks like the stock is trying to reset.
What is that pattern? What is it doing with the price here?
Well, it's a little bit of a rising wedge situation here. No, we've
been
rising.
Flag.
I mean, you could argue that all this was a rising situation here.
Yep. And then it's a bearish break.
But when we broke here, look at that.
Beautiful candle.
We held.
It's a beautiful candle right there.
Look at that. We held at the tippy top
of that area
of right here.
Yeah, which would make sense. Logical. It's a logical support area, right?
Right around 140.
Yep.
And that's what's labeled this continued bullish move here. But we need to get above here. We need to break 157.
Yep.
Right now, we're not there.
We do have higher lows, though, so that's something that's still intact.
Yes, and this bullish move has not broken yet, to say the least. We'll go to the 4 hour and see if we see anything else. We see the stock reset on the 4 hour. We're still seeing a little divergence in the OBV, you know. Little bit. The volume's kind of trailed off a little bit as well. This is the 4 hour.
Yeah, it's more of a clear bear flag here in the 4 hour pattern, even a bullish pennant if you just kind of go that way.
I mean, this was the nastiest red candle we've had since we've bottomed. I really can't find a nastier one there.
Yeah.
So
even this here, you kind of these four candles.
Yeah.
You had some follow up downside after that. So it's only comparable almost amount of distance move.
So how much is this rising wedge different than this bullish rising wedge?
Right.
And the difference is it comes after this giant red candle.
And it's at 150, which is kind of an important area.
It's true. You know, we're here. So and we've been here before. Look at that right there. Same situation where we've been right in this area here. These are bottoms here.
Recent history. It's a lot of
look at we have support, broke it, and now it's still hitting resistance right here. So this area here at 158 or so has not been able to get broken yet. That's kind of interesting here because here's my bullish scenario. We break 159, 160, and then 190.
Well, what about here though? I mean, what about like
174? You know, we're definitely talking about that and higher for the next run there. Until we do that, this is still going to correct. Now, again, Bitcoin has been the leader. We've seen Bitcoin basically determine
Bitcoin Core.
We got to get them confused, right? We've seen them, basically be the leader in terms of what has the price action of Litecoin ensued. We've seen a lot closer similarities with Litecoin and Bitcoin than Ether seems to almost be doing its own thing, and Bitcoin Cash is definitely
diverging. So you're kind of seeing which ones are breaking the trend.
Right.
But just real quick, just wanted to let you guys know if you do enjoy his content, you can find my man here, Big Chonis, on Twitter at Big Chonis. Find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. Of course, the Beginner's Guide to Cryptocurrency Trading can be found at chedstrading.blogspot.com. You guys will love it. I made it for you. Please check it out. What are your feelings here? Do you want to do a couple alts, maybe just to give people a nice little update? And also, we're not advisors. We're just a couple guys who like to have fun. We're talking crypto. I do encourage people paper trade. That way you can kind of minimize your risk. Pretty much you can make it zero, and learn that way. So that being said, and also great chat room. Appreciate all the people who joined and are contributing. What do we have here in the chat room, Big Chonis? Where do you want to get started?
Yeah, let's say hello to 400 of our closest friends watching us here live on this Sunday afternoon. in the good old United States of America.
Yep.
We've been watching price action all week. We're very excited for the week ahead and everything that it entails. We're trying to basically figure out, how we want to position ourselves for next week. We've had this epic run. We want to keep the gains that we have basically been able to ride on some of these coins here. How do we do that while we expect a natural and sometimes needed pullback to kind of reset the charts here? How do we do that if we want a lot of our coins that we've been holding, our ZRXs, our TRXs, our Ncashes, our ripples, if we want those to kind of continue their upward bullish momentum, we're going to have to see them reset and basically find that new base of support for the next leg. So let's look at a couple of these here and see basically if we can find some of the craziest price action and some of the kind of winners over the past few days here.
Yeah, you've been keeping an eye on some of these. I talk a lot about Binance and Big Chonis. You have an eye on Bittrex. Maybe you want to just real quickly, anything that jumps out, anything interesting you want to share here, or do you want to just maybe go for the high volume ones?
Well, so I use the Bittrex exchange in terms of a lot of trading my alts. I know they have coins on there that are not available on other exchanges and vice versa. And I know the volumes basically don't correlate as much. I don't really look at the volume too much on Bittrex because I know it's a much smaller dollar volume exchange, but I can know that the price action, the charts pretty much line up to other exchanges, because if Ripple, for instance, is moving pretty hard on one exchange, it will follow suit on another. So how about we take a couple requests here in the chat room and see what's going on here. Let's look at Ada, our old friend Cardano here. Now, we have been watching this really bullish, basically uptrend here after this long consolidation, after its really epic parabolic move here. We're basically seeing what is being an argument basically about how much of this run is still left in it. We were bottomed down here around 2000-ish. We've come up to 3400. Just a great move in the past month or so. Basically, we're able to break through a lot of these moving averages. We see the RSI, once it did top off into the overbought area, has come down and is actually seeing it as a little resistance point. We've seen the stock RSI been hovered at a very high range for quite a while here. And this is an example here where the stock RSI can remain very high, looping around this overbought to kind of neutral area, while the actual RSI slowly ticks up. And we're seeing OBV increase as well. So overall, this has been a very bullish chart over the past couple of weeks. But let's zoom in, kind of see if we see any bearish signs or a little understanding of what we might be putting up here. The 4-hour chart, do we have basically a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Are we doing our A, B, C correction here? Is possible. It is possible. It could be putting in some sort of a head and shoulders pattern on the top here, where the right shoulder or left shoulder, I don't get my shoulders right, the left shoulder will basically be setting up some sort of a loop here. We're going to see how it responds to these support areas here on the MAs. We've had a nice pop here. A good consolidation would be very healthy for the chart. There's a lot of areas of support you want to see hold, basically, if we are going to downtrend much. Now, here's a question that you really have to ask yourself. Let's say you're a fan of ADA, and let's say, you think of this as a long-term play. Then you basically don't care that this is going to reset. You almost kind of want it to reset because you feel, oh, maybe I'll just add some more coin at a lower price.
But if you are a long-term holder, don't you want more coins or tokens? And if it's at 35 and it's going to 25, why wouldn't you sell half or a third and buy more? Like, what I mean? I never get the argument that, well, if I'm a hodler, I should just hold no matter what. I don't get that.
So it's a great point, and a lot of that is basically talked about in hindsight. It's like, oh, I bought Bitcoin at 15,000. If I'd only known that it was going to 5 or 6,000, I would have just waited for 6,000. Well, you're in hindsight area. It went to 6,000. So you can't say the you of you when Bitcoin was at 15,000 that you knew it was going to drop that much. I'm sure when you bought it at 15,000, you thought it was going to fly to 30,000. So you can think about it like that. But that's how you kind of get wrecked sometimes, because you try and play that game where you're basically taking profits, which we like to do, and then basically you're saying, okay, I'm going to try and catch this falling knife and basically reload, try and pick this kind of nut bottom. And the thing about that is it's so hard to do that. You almost get neurotic in a way if you're trying to figure out what that is. So the best case scenario here is if you want to be a long-term holder, it's important to take some profits along the way to bank those. And if you still want to hold and add to that, it will give you an opportunity to do so. And that's kind of a smarter way to do it, because you can hold these coins for a while, no doubt. But if you hold through parabolic moves, through big volume moves kind of outside the standard deviation, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table long term.
We don't want to do that, do we?
No.
I mean, because if you leave money on the table, you might only be able to have one Lamborghini. You know, you can't get that second one. I'll just wrap this up real quick and give you my opinion on the on the chart, and we'll just move on. Maybe do a couple more real quick. I am seeing on the daily chart. I almost did see a warning sign before I looked at the 4-hour chart, because I am seeing a 3 inside down pattern on the daily chart. We have this prior. We have a bearish harami is the second candle. You have that kind of complete candle body enclosed with the prior candle, and then we have the third candle here, almost confirming the 3 outside down. We do have potentially almost like an RSI double top here, potentially, to keep an eye on for ADA. So, you know, I want to keep it. I would definitely keep an eye on that, because it's looking like we're having a higher low here.
Yeah.
Clearly, you want to see the lower highs hold, so you're going to want to keep an eye on 3,000. If we start to close, if we close below 3,000, then we're probably going to 26. So
yeah, and I think if that's the case, if we do close under 3, I think a lot of people will be waiting for that 26 area. So that could be almost a given. So it's still in an uptrend. It's had a great bullish move. We're going to see how the price of Bitcoin plays out, and that's going to clearly affect a lot of the price action in alts if people want to kind of head to Tether or not.
All right, you want to pick maybe 2 more for us, Big
Yeah,
Chonis?
we got a lot of requests here, so maybe we'll just blast out a couple more here.
Let's do it. Let's give them 20 seconds in each.
We'll see how we can do. Let's just try to get, but we don't want to rush them. We want to get some good information here.
Well, how about the South Korean won? I hear that's
It's the way to do it.
I hear that's where it's at these days.
So, a little TRX. Now, I know this is a big fan favorite. A lot of people love this one here. So, a couple things basically come to mind here. We've been in this, 6K range here. 600 Satoshi range for quite a while here. Basically, since 318, we had our bottom, riding this line here for quite a while here, keeps acting as support. This slow upward momentum. We've found a lot of resistance though in this kind of 650 to 600 area, where every time we get there.
Well, is this an ascending triangle, Big Chonis?
So far it is. There isn't much bearishness about this. And the thing I really like is that it's not exploding. We have not seen Tron do what a lot of other coins have, which have had that massive green candle after a massive green candle. We had a nice green candle here, pullback consolidation, halted this trend line. So this kind of slow and steady wins the race has been actually working quite well with Tron. Now, a couple of key things here. The RSI is not overbought yet. The OBV is constant. Little bearish cross there on the stock RSI, but still kind of not really sure. We've seen times where it's been up here for a while. We've seen times where the RSI gets rejected, so we'll kind of see what happens there. Let's go into a little more short term here. And, we're still kind of clawing around here. I would not be shocked if we were actually kind of retest this trend line again. We've done it a couple times here. As long as we hold above it here and keep this upward momentum, the chart's definitely still in play. Let's do ICX.
Yeah, just real quick, I agree. I mean, you really pointed out. I mean, you've got the lower trend line. Clearly, for me, it's an ascending triangle. So you just basically like this. You just draw it, roughly speaking, like that. And you just want to kind of keep an eye on this pattern. You look for a break in either direction for a signal. What's next, Big Chonis?
So ICX.
Okay, do you have it right here? ICX, okay. ICX, a very popular one as well. We are seeing a higher low. We want to really, for me, you want to see if these higher highs will hold. That's something I would be keeping an eye on. I'm going to draw a lower support line and a resistance line as well. So I'm going to basically want to keep an eye on that. And we're trading within that channel. We're a little bit hot here on the RSI. On balance is decent, but it was clearly we got a signal, Big Chonis. So these 2 spinning tops the last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, Cheds, all right, this has been a great chart here. I like the fact that we kind of did this big move here, a lot of consolidation. This consolidation makes this move even stronger.
Sure.
Because we basically were able to hold
at that peak.
a higher, yeah, right there. We're able to hold this higher low,
Yeah.
and we're kind of just trucking around here. I would not be surprised if we keep in this zone here. As long as we keep in the zone, the chart's bullish, we can break this and move
Yep.
to a higher area here. The RSI is not oversold yet. You know, OBV is kind of bouncing around there. I don't see anything there too much. You know, we do see for the first time, although we've kind of seen similar price action here with a lot of resistance here, similar patterns here. Potentially, it could be a rising wedge. Still not really.
Rising wedge?
Well,
Because
almost.
you're going up. This is more of either, I would see personally, a bull flag, because you have your flag pole and then you have these two lines here. So it's
Yeah.
either a bull flag or a bull pennant.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
that.
doing the longer if I do a flag pole, yeah.
I mean, it's really, yeah. I mean, this
Okay,
is
so that's an ascending triangle.
yeah. It could be an ascending triangle putting in here, which normally can be bearish.
That's only, we have more candles though. Maybe we go, you know, if you go flag pole like that.
So there's a lot of different things there.
Okay,
Let's
fair
do,
enough.
Let's do
So,
two
but either
more.
way, it's roughly appears to be doing a bullish continuation pattern.
All right.
All right, what's next?
Let's do two more. Let's do EOS. I know this one has been a lot
Okay.
of Momo.
Momo.
So, all right, this has just been a great bull of a chart there. We see a nice daisy chaining.
Nice higher high.
Basically have this epic run here, a lot of consolidation, but it held the higher low from this previous area here. I was able to put another one, break this resistance here, and right now we're trying to see how we can consolidate here. This is bullish here. I mean, there's nothing that says this isn't going to go higher as long as they don't crap out. There definitely is a slight drop off in volume as we consolidate, but as long as we can keep this price area here, I don't see anything yet that says it can't go for another leg. The RSI is not overbought yet.
Yeah.
The daily stock is reset. OBV does remain strong.
Yep.
That's on the 4 hour there. You know, the RSI here, you know, still has room here. We've seen it over here, higher highs there.
Yep.
Still room to run there. I do see a
Well,
little.
this is a big area though, Big
Yeah.
Chonis, right here, right? And this is a very important area.
A lot of history here. I do see a slight OBV drop off as we get higher, and we're still kind of up there slightly. It's not huge, but basically you would expect that when we're basically back to
Yeah.
this 1,
There's
2,
a-
3 area here.
Yeah, big
A lot
time.
of history here.
Yeah, a lot of history here. What's the last one?
Let's do Storm, STORM. I know that one has had some great price action recently. You might have to enter that one in there.
Okay.
Is it rain in there? In
You
the
want to go
Storm?
ahead and
Go to that.
okay. Okay, let's go.
Now this is only available on Binance, and we'll take a peek
Yeah, this
here.
has some mojo. Wow, huh? Look at that daily chart. Oops. Look at that daily chart, huh? Let's go a little closer though, because you know, with a daily chart like this, there's not that many candles, Big Jonas. We want to maybe 4 hour.
Yeah.
What do you think in the 4 hour?
I mean, yeah, it looks like it's still kind of a bull.
It looks almost to me like a bull. It's either a bull pennant or just broke it because you closed above here, right? This was even an ascending triangle that just broke right here. See that?
Yeah, I mean, this is bullish. I don't really think this is a very bearish
And
chart
look,
here.
boom, right there.
Yeah.
Stochastic. This looks pretty good.
Yeah, we have a 4 hour term bullish. We have the OBV super strong here.
This looks good.
RSI can remain high in this area here for a little bit longer. Could be setting up for that next little move there. This was a newer coin, you know. This was basically put on the Binance Exchange in March. So a lot of history here. Have this huge spike here, double wick rejection, came back. Now we're trying to basically see if we can get up here. Strong resistance, literally right here.
Yep.
So there is room to run, but you know, on the pullback, which there will be a pullback, be curious to see basically how far it retreats. You know, the less it retreats, the more bullish it can remain. Last thing I want to do here is we brought it up. Just go a quick look here and see kind of where we are at in Bitcoin.
How's the volume? 20 million, 20 whatever, 24 hours,
Well,
20.
Let's pull it up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, let's acknowledge kind of where we were. We were in the 4 billion range back in early April. We had that massive day when we had 9 billion on that great volume bar there. And now basically we've kind of been in the 5s, the 6s, the 7s, the 8s, the 7s. Today, a little less volume here, kind of in the low 6s, but we're holding this high 8s here, which basically says there isn't a lot of selling action. People aren't really wanting to sell. People are still very bullish. So the volume could be a little better. I'd actually like to see us kind of remain over 7 or 8, which we've done the past 3 days. It's always been very encouraging. A lot of this was actually some buy volume there. We're also seeing Bitcoin's dominance decrease consistently, only down to 38.4%. here, a market cap of $395 billion. So you can see here,
sub 40. I mean, below 40 is a psychological threshold. It means alts are kicking butt.
you're seeing that a lot of the money flow is still flowing into alts. That happens basically when Bitcoin can kind of remain stable. We might be bouncing around this kind of area here in the eights for a while. I wouldn't be surprised. There's nothing wrong with a lot of sideways action, but there's still a lot of uncertainty out there. We haven't had the weekly close, which happens this evening. A lot of indicators have been topped off for a while, and you're kind of expecting a pullback in the market sentiment, perhaps. Last couple of things here, try and keep an eye on Bitcoin longs and Bitcoin shorts to kind of see if you see any conviction there. Right now, I'm basically seeing the longs. You were seeing this great price action with Bitcoin, yet longs are kind of still downtrending here. Almost like they're not fully convinced that this is the beginning of a longer term uptrend.
But they're due to balance. We're near the lower trend line.
It's possible.
So
you might see them really start to crank up, and that might give them some sort of RA conviction. Keep an eye on the shorts here, though. I'm not looking at shorts here, but keep an eye on the shorts here, where once they got wrecked, we had this big candle down. They were trying to kind of rebuild again, got liquidated again, and now we're basically back to this support area here. It's kind of interesting because we're literally back to where we had bottomed back on the 13th when we had the epic candle. We also had this huge gap in price action here, and gaps like to get filled in certain charts. So I would not be surprised at some point we basically trend higher again as shorts begin to build and basically try and fill this gap here. So until we break this line here, I'm not going to have conviction that the shorts have capitulated completely, and same with the longs.
Could be a W bottom for me.
Yeah, until we basically start to uptrend and break some of these areas here, I'm not going to be convicted that the longs have the confidence there. So there's still a lot of uncertainty there, even though we've seen very strong price action in Bitcoin.
Let's wrap it up real quick just so we can see where we're at in Bitcoin. Just big picture. Where I am at, I am of the opinion that we have not broken the downtrend line yet on the daily chart. If we go to Bitfinex, and I'm using the candle body method, I don't know if this line's been...
Maximize it.
What about double it? Yep. So just quickly readjust the line. So basically, and we are on Bitfinex. So if you take the top peak... Oh, what am I on here? Why is this...
Well, you're good. This is log, and that's
daily.
We did break it.
Yeah, it shouldn't break it though. No, it doesn't break it till about 98. Yeah, here we go. So basically, if you take the top peak,
maximize it.
Looks a little different here though. All right. Sorry about that, folks. We have a friend watching basketball in the background. At any point, I'm the opinion we have not broken the downtrend line, because if you take the top peak and the second peak with the candle body method, we did not reach the price in the third peak. And right now we're pretty close to the area, but we have not broken it. On Coinbase, we have broken it. Or if you go linear mode. So there's like 4 methods of verification. There's the log and linear, and then there's the Coinbase and the Bittrex. I'm waiting for the most conservative thing, because if there's money on the sidelines waiting for a log break on Bitfinex using the conservative candle body method and not skipping a peak, that's what I'm waiting for. So just to wrap it up.
I agree with everything you said there. My only thing is that at this point here, does it really matter? And the reason I read that is because if it breaks it, I think you're going to see people saying, the bull trap is set. And I think other people will say, aha, it's confirmed that the downtrend is over. So I agree. It is kind of a race to see if we can basically hit it up there somewhere the 96 to 97 area. Getting closer to 10,000, I mean, that's going to be a huge hurdle. There's a lot of resistance in this 95 to 98 area. So we're not out of the woods yet. We've had this great climb over the past 2 weeks. A lot of positive indicators. The price action, the money flow has signaled that. But in these times where we feel that everything is going great, where the bulls are back, where everybody's making money, those are the times where you begin to get a little risky in your trades, a little loose potentially in your stop losses, and create a situation where you get caught with a not expecting some sort of a pullback that can happen very quickly, and we've seen it happen with the price of Bitcoin as well. So just be safe out there. There's still a lot of trades available. If you've been able to ride a lot of these alts, lock up some profits, basically spread it around. If you feel you've made some profits in these alts and you want to take other positions in other coins just to kind of spread out your portfolio. Don't go too heavy in things, but if you want to be a long-term holder and kind of ride the wave, if you will, this is an opportunity to spread out some of those gains as well as put them in Tether or fiat to protect those and basically be prepared for any kind of pullback that comes for a better entry. And there always is that chance it will happen. So just be smart out there. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This is just the beginning, or I guess it's the middle of the beginning of this amazing venture. And I love talking this stuff with you, Cheds. I think there's just so much to say and so much we want to say. And let's just keep at it.
Keep the party rolling. Just as a reminder, we are not advisors. We're just two friends who like to talk crypto. I am Big Cheds. You can find me on Twitter at Big Ched. You find him on Twitter at Big Chonis. We like to give
on YouTube.
And on YouTube. So Big Chonis does have his own. Is it Chonis Trading?
Yeah, it's Chonis Trading. My link is right there on my
Excellent.
Twitter.
So I know you're starting to put out some of your own videos, and some people think we're the same person, but clearly we're not. One of us likes paper, the other one likes plastic. But anyway, he does his own videos too. We're just getting the party started here, folks. Anyway, thanks for coming. We appreciate you stopping by. And I also recommend you be a little conservative and wish everyone the best of luck. All right? Peace out.